like to welcome everybody for joining us today for our town hall. I'm Janaline, Chief of the Elections Division, and I'm excited to be a part of today's event to share official resources and trusted information provided by the Secretary of State's office to prepare you for the November 5th, 2024 general election. Again, thank you for joining us today. This is the second in our two-part series, which will provide you with valuable voter and elections information that you will need to make a plan to vote. In last week's presentation, we discussed what voters will see on their ballot and reviewed the contents of the State Voter Information Guide. We will have this session, as well as today's presentation, available soon on the Secretary of State's website and on our YouTube channel. There will be time for questions and answers after the presentation, and we encourage you to write your questions in the Q&A box that can be found in the toolbar at the bottom of your screen. We have limited time today, so we may not get to everyone's question, but you can always reach out to our voter hotline or email our office, and we'll provide our contact information throughout this presentation. Now it is my distinct honor to introduce California Secretary of State, Dr. Shirley Weber.
Thank you, Jana, and welcome to all of you to our second and final virtual voter education event. It is really our honor and pleasure to have you with us today and to be a part of this program. You know, the interesting thing is that we've had so many people to let us know how much they appreciate what we're doing and how important this information has been for them in making decisions about how they're going to vote. I've heard nothing but positive comments about my staff, about the information presented, and people are looking forward to this second and final virtual conversation that we'll have with you about making a plan to vote. It's been difficult. Obviously, this is a difficult year. This is a year of tremendous resources. This is a year in which we are going to have one of the most exciting elections of all times, and everyone is excited about it. A presidential election is always exciting. But in addition to that, in California, we have a number of issues on our ballot. We've got one of the largest voter information guides I'm sure that you've seen in history, almost 150 pages of information. And yet I've had people tell me that it's one of the best because the information is clear, the information they can understand, and it gives them guidance and direction as to how they want to vote. Not necessarily how they should vote, but how they want to vote, and giving them the information as to what they need to make good decisions about voting. So we are committed to making sure that every Californian who's registered to vote has an opportunity to vote. We hope that those of you who are eligible have registered, and this discussion is about what you do after you're registered, making a plan to basically vote on election day, or to make a plan to vote by mail, whatever your choice may be. We want you to know what resources are available, what materials are available for you to make those decisions, and want to let you know how safe and secure our election places are. California is the largest voting base in the nation. We have over 22 million registered voters in California alone. And so therefore it becomes a major production in every county of the 58 counties, with all of the different items that are on the ballot, to make sure that you get a chance to do that. So I just want to let you know how important it is for you to really make a plan, to not just think, oh, it's a coming and whenever happens, happens. But there are many things that are available to you to help you make that plan, and we hope that you will take advantage of it and utilize the resources we have to make a difference in the election that's there. So our staff is here to help you. And even after this, as they pointed out, this information will be on our website. But we also have folks who you can call, and just hotlines to get information. If you get any sense of confusion, or you want to know exactly where to go, or things have changed, we are available to you up until the night of the election in terms of making sure that you have what you need to make a good decision. So once again, I want to thank my staff. They have been amazing. They have done some wonderful work in not only in our election division, division, but in our communications division as well, and in our outreach division. So they have done a wonderful job. I want to thank them so very much for what they've done. This is an exciting time, and they're meeting the time with their time and energy and recommendations that they have for how you can execute an excellent plan for voting. So once again, I'm going to turn this back to Jana, our director in charge of elections, but I want to thank her and this team for really making this a wonderful experience. We're looking forward to November 5th to have a wonderful, safe, and in some ways boring election where there's nothing unusual happening other than you taking advantage of the opportunity to vote. So once again, thank you for joining us in this very important event.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Weber. Now we'll turn it over to one of our elections analysts, Jillian Castillo, who will provide you with all the tools you need to make a plan to vote using our trusted election information. Take it away, Jillian.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jana. And hello to everyone, and thank you for joining us today. As mentioned, I am Julian Castillo. I am an analyst and outreach coordinator with the California Secretary of State's office. During today's session, we'll review some important voter information that I'm sure you will all want to know as November quickly approaches. So on screen is just a quick snapshot of what we'll be going over today, which includes Voter Bill of Rights, election day information, dates to remember, voter registration information, some assistance options available to voters with disabilities, how and when you can drop off your ballot and how to track it, election security, and some tips for voters. As a registered voter, you are protected by certain rights to ensure that you are able to cast your vote unbothered. It's important for you to know your rights when casting your ballots, as this will help ensure that your voice is heard. Today, I will walk you through your 10 voter rights so you can be fully prepared for the upcoming election. You can find a copy of the Voter Bill of Rights on page 2 of the State Voter Information Guide and also on our website. The QR code on the bottom of the slide will also take you directly to that webpage. So, as a California voter, you have the following rights. First, the right to vote if you are a registered voter, and you are eligible to vote if you are a U.S. citizen living in California, at least 18 years old, registered where you currently live, not currently serving a state or federal prison term for the conviction of a felony, and not currently found mentally incompetent to vote by a court. You have the right to vote if you are a registered voter, even if your name is not on the list. You will vote using a provisional ballot, and it will be counted if elections officials determine that you are eligible. You have the right to vote if you are in line when the polls close at 8 p.m., so make sure you stay in line. You have the right to cast your ballot without anyone bothering you or telling you how to vote. You have the right to get a new ballot if you have made a mistake. If you have not already cast your ballot, you can ask an elections official at a polling place for a new ballot. You can exchange your vote by mail ballot for a new one at an elections office or at your polling place, or you can vote using a provisional ballot. You have the right to get help casting your ballot as long as the person helping you is not your employer or your union representative. You have the right to drop off your completed vote by mail ballot at any polling place in California. You have the right to get election materials in a language other than English if enough people in your voting precinct speak that language. You have the right to ask questions to election officials about election procedures as long as you're not being disruptive to other voters. And finally, you have the right to report any fraudulent election activity to an elections official or the Secretary of State's office. If you feel as if you're being denied any of these rights, please contact our confidential voter hotline for assistance. That phone number is available on the slide and on our website. Here we have some important dates to remember leading up to the general election. All 58 counties will place vote by mail ballots in the mail no later than October 7th. You can sign up for the Where's My Ballot tool to get notified when exactly your ballot has been sent by your county. We'll give more details on how that tool works a little bit later on. Drop-off locations open for vote by mail ballots on October 8th. So as folks start to receive their ballots in the mail, they're welcome to fill them out as soon as they receive them, seal them, sign the vote by mail envelope, and drop them off to be counted. For all counties, early in-person voting options become available starting on October 7th. All counties will have at least one in-person voting site available starting on this date, It will most likely be your county elections office, but it's always great to check with them directly just to be sure. You can also check our webpage, CA Early Voting at sos.ca.gov. In Voters' Choice Act counties, vote centers open for in-person voting on October 26th. And then the day that we're all gearing up for is Election Day, November 5th. This is the last day to vote in the general election. In the State Voter Information Guide, which is available in print and online, there is a handy page that covers polling place hours, how to find your polling place or vote center, how to check your voter registration status, and where folks can find and follow election results. This page is kind of like a one-stop shop for quick and accessible information regarding the election. This page is equipped with helpful web pages and phone numbers that you can use to find those answers to your questions. Taking a closer look at what is included on that helpful election information page, we can see some details of polling place hours. So remember that polling locations are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Tuesday, November 5th. And it is your right to cast your vote if you are in line by 8 p.m. on Election Day. If you need some help finding your polling place or vote center ballot drop box, you can check your county voter information guide with your county elections office or also with the Secretary of State's office. Carrying on with some of this Election Day information, the Secretary of State's office runs a tool called My Voter Status, which is accessible via the Secretary of State's website at voterstatus.sos.ca.gov. This tool can check your current registration status, help find a polling place or vote center, as well as confirm where you are registered and your political party preferences. For general election results, you can visit electionresults.sos.ca.gov. The Secretary of State's office will begin posting election results at 8 p.m. on November 5th, and then the following days, our office will update those numbers regularly. And the official certified election results will be posted by December 13th, 2024. Next, we will cover important voter information, including voter registration, privacy information, military and overseas voters, and voting rights restored. Certain voters who are in the midst of life-threatening situations, such as victims and survivors of domestic violence, stalking, sexual assault, human trafficking, elder or dependent adult abuse, or similar circumstances may qualify for a confidential voter status if they are active members of the Safe at Home program. For information, please contact the Secretary of State's Safe at Home program at 877-322-5227, or you can visit their webpage, sos.ca.gov/registries/safe-home. And our office does receive questions regularly regarding voter information privacy. And we do want to explain that some information used on your voter registration affidavits will be used by elections officials to send you official information on the voting process, such as the location of your polling place and the measures and candidates that will be on the ballot. Commercial use of voter registration information is prohibited by law and is a misdemeanor. Voter information may be provided to a candidate for office, a ballot committee, or other persons for election, journalistic, political, or governmental purposes. Driver's license and social security numbers or your signature on your voter registration card cannot be released for these purposes. If you have questions about the use of voter information, or you feel the need to report suspected misuse of such information, please call the Secretary of State's toll-free voter hotline at 800-345-8683, and we can help you file a complaint. Californians who are serving in the military or who are living outside of the United States do have the ability to participate in California elections with the proper arrangements. Those who qualify can register to vote as a military or overseas voter, and receive their election materials by mail, fax, or email. One of the best pieces of advice that we can offer military and overseas voters is to start the process early. County elections officials begin sending out ballots to military and overseas voters 60 days before Election Day. So, some other important dates to remember. October 21, 2024 is the last day for military and overseas voters to register to vote in the general election. October 22 through November 5th is the same day registration period, so you may conditionally register to vote a provisional ballot during that time. And then November 5 is Election Day. Mailed ballots must be postmarked on or before Election Day and received by your county elections office no later than November 12th. Fax ballots must be delivered to your county elections office by close of polls no later than 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Election Day. Voting rights restored. We have a quick important information on voting rights restored. So a quick overview of what this means. If someone has a prior felony conviction, they can register to vote if they are a U.S. citizen and California resident, they are 18 years old or older on Election Day, not currently found mentally incompetent to vote by a court, not currently serving a state or federal prison term for the conviction of a felony. And if they meet these requirements, they can vote even if they have a misdemeanor conviction, are on parole supervision or probation, are on post-release community supervision. It's always a good idea to check your voter registration status with the My Voter Status tool that we talked about just a little while ago. If you need to register or re-register, you can do so at registertovote.ca.gov, or you can request a paper voter registration card by calling the Secretary of State's voter hotline at 800-345-8683. Our next section is on voter accessibility and resources, and that includes assistance for voters with disabilities, voting by mail, how and where to vote, and provisional voting. If you are a voter with a disability, there are many options to ensure that you can participate in the general election. California is committed to ensuring that every voter is able to cast their ballot privately and independently. For more information on how your county elections office can support you, please check your county voter information guide or contact your county elections official. If you need help marking your ballot, you may choose up to 2 people to assist you. However, they cannot be your employer, a colleague, your union leader, or anyone who works for your union. Curbside voting is available at all polling locations. This allows you to park as close as possible to the voting area. An elections official will bring you a roster to sign, a ballot, and any other materials that you may need. Remote accessible vote by mail systems provide an accessible options for voters with disabilities to receive their ballot at home and mark it independently and privately before sending it back to their elections officials. You can contact your county elections office for more information on this option. Audio and large print voter information guides are available in English, Chinese, Hindi, Japanese, Khmer, Korean, Spanish, Tagalog, Thai, and Vietnamese at no cost. To order these materials, you can visit vote.ca.gov or you can call our voter hotline at 800-345-8683. As we have mentioned, counties will place ballots in the mail no later than October 7th. So we want to offer some quick tips to ensure that voters are ready to complete their ballots when they arrive. One of the most important reminders that we can offer is to make sure that you sign your vote by mail envelope in the designated section. Your county elections office will compare signatures on your vote by mail ballots before they count them. Once your ballot is completed, sealed, and signed, you can drop it in a vote by mail drop box or place it in the mail. If you place it in the mail, it must be postmarked on or before Election Day, so be sure to keep that in mind when making your plans. If you would like to deliver your ballot in person, you can do so at any polling place. vote center, or your county elections office by 8 p.m. on Election Day. So be sure to sign up for the Where's My Ballot tool so that you can track your ballot and receive a notification when it arrives to your county elections office. With this free service, you will be notified when your ballot is mailed to you, when it is received by your county elections office, if or when it was counted, and if it wasn't, you'll be given guidance on how to correct any issues. And we'll go into more detail about this helpful tool just a little bit later on. Once again, counties will be mailing vote-by-mail ballots no later than October 7th. It is written in California Elections Code that all registered California voters will receive a vote-by-mail ballot. However, no one is required to vote by mail if they would rather vote in person. If you would like to vote in person, we recommend that you take your vote by mail ballot with you to your polling place and surrender it so that elections officials know for certain that you have not voted. If you have misplaced your ballot or you don't have it with you when you go to vote in person, that's okay. That will not stop you from being able to vote. If you did not receive your vote by mail ballot and the election is inching closer, you can apply for a replacement ballot with your county elections office. You also have the option of going to a polling place to receive a new ballot. You can get more information on this process at sos.ca.gov/elections/voter-registration/vote mail. Voters can begin dropping off ballots in drop boxes as early as October 8th. Ballots can be mailed or dropped off in person, which also includes at early in-person polling sites. To help find a voting location, you can visit our website for that at caearlyvoting.sos.ca.gov. This page is up and running, but more information will become available closer to October 7th. If you decide to mail your ballot, ballots must be postmarked on November 5th. If you are making use of one of the many drop boxes that are available, know that county officials collect all ballots and ensure that they are handled properly. All ballots are picked up in teams of 2 for safety and security. If you signed up for the Where's My Ballot tool, you'll be notified when the county receives your ballot. Vote centers are available in what are called Voters' Choice Act counties. The Voters' Choice Act was designed to provide voters greater flexibility and convenience by allowing them to vote at any polling location in their county. In these counties, vote centers open up 10 days before Election Day, helping to expand access to the ballot through early voting opportunities. So, for the general election, vote centers will open on October 26th. If your county is not a Voters' Choice Act county, you still have the opportunity to begin voting in person at your county elections office starting on October 7th. Some counties may offer more early voting locations, and it's always best to check with them for the most up-to-date information. To find out more information or to verify if your county is among one of the Voters' Choice Act counties, you can visit vca.sos.ca.gov, or you can scan that little QR code on the slide. All of the information that we have covered so far is available on the Secretary of State's website. One of the easiest ways to navigate to what you're looking for will be to start on the Elections and Voter Information page. You can access this page at sos.ca.gov/elections, or you can scan the QR code on the screen. This page offers a quick recap of important dates and things to remember as you start to build your plan to vote in November. So thank you all for bearing with me so far. I am now going to hand it over to my friend and colleague, Kalika Edwards, and she will guide us through the rest of the presentation.
Thank you, Julian. As mentioned, my name is Kalika Edwards, and I am an elections analyst and outreach coordinator here at the California Secretary of State's office. This afternoon, I'm going to walk you through some of the key pieces of the voting process, such as what happens when you cast your vote, how you can track your ballot, and some of the measures that we take to ensure our elections are safe and secure. But first, let's talk about provisional voting or voting a provisional ballot. As stated in the California Voter Bill of Rights, provisional voting is available to ensure that every eligible voter can vote on Election Day. A provisional ballot is commonly used in some of the following scenarios. If a voter's name is not on a list of registered voters at their designated polling place, but they believe they are registered to vote, or if a voter does not bring their vote by mail ballot to the polling place or vote center, and election workers still cannot confirm whether the individual has not already voted. When a voter completes a provisional ballot, it is placed in a special envelope to reflect that it is a provisional ballot, and it goes straight directly to the county elections office after Election Day. Once received, county elections officials research it to ensure that the voter is eligible, has yet to vote, and meets all requirements. If the requirements are met, the ballot is cast. If not, a reason for not casting a vote will be provided to the voter. Once you've voted, county elections officials initiate a specific process to manage your ballot. Next, I will guide you through some of the essential aspects of this process and the security measures that we have in place to ensure a safe and reliable election. County elections officials routinely collect ballots from post offices and drop boxes following a strict chain of custody. For those unfamiliar with the term chain of custody, in this context, it simply means that two designated county officials are responsible for safeguarding the ballot throughout the collection and counting processes. Each of the 58 counties must submit a chain of custody plans to the Secretary of State's Office of Election Security before each election. All vote-by-mail ballots undergo verification checks, including capturing an image of the voter's signature on the ballot envelope to ensure it matches the voter registration data. The county will notify the voter if a signature is missing or does not match. And if you signed up for Where's My Ballot, you will receive notifications once your ballot is received. Depending on your chosen method during sign-up, these notifications can be sent via text, voice, or email. And coming up, I will guide you through the specifics of the Where's My Ballot service offered by the Secretary of State's office. As my colleague Julian previously mentioned, reporting on vote-by-mail ballots begins at 8 p.m. on election night, and ballots will be counted until certification on December 13th. You can track the status of your ballot through My Voter Status. My Voter Status can be utilized to verify your voter registration, locate your voter registration information, confirm your political party preference, and indicate your language preference for election materials. You can also use it to verify the status of your mail-in or provisional ballot, locate your polling place, access details about upcoming local and state elections, obtain contact information for your county elections office. And finally, this service also allows you to receive your state and county voter information guide before each election. So throughout this presentation, we have talked a lot about Where's My Ballot? So what is Where's My Ballot? Where's My Ballot is a ballot tracking service launched by the California Secretary of State in partnership with Ballot Tracks. This service allows voters to track their ballot, whether they voted in person at a polling place or mailed their ballot to their county. On the slide, you can see an image of the main page you will encounter when you visit where'smyballot.sos.ca.gov. When you visit the login page, you can select your preferred language by clicking on the drop-down at the top right of the page. You can select one of the following as your preferred language: English, Spanish, Chinese, Hindi, Japanese, Khmer, Korean, Tagalog, Thai, or Vietnamese. After selecting your language, you must input your first and last name, date of birth, and zip code exactly as you used when registering to vote. If everything is correct, click the register/login to access your account. If there is an error, the page will display a message explaining the issue and how to fix it or where to seek further assistance. The Troubleshooting Frequently Asked Questions document is located above the first name entry field. There you will find useful troubleshooting information. Once you have entered all the correct information, you will be directed to your Where's My Ballot account. This service allows voters to set up contact and notification preferences, and an image of that is on the screen available on the slide to the right. From there, you can select your preferred contact method. After choosing your contact method, you will need to provide the necessary information for each method. Such as your email for email notifications, phone number for text messages, or phone call preferences. In addition to updating your contact preferences, you can adjust the hours during which you would like to receive notifications. The default notification window for all account holders is set to 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. When signed into your account, you can see the status of your current ballot and your previous voting record, whether you voted in person or by mail. With each special and statewide election, Where's My Ballot will be enabled in your county for you to use. This slide shows the 3 most common messages you'll receive when using the service, like ballot outbound, ballot inbound, and ballot received and accepted. The first message you'll receive is ballot outbound. This means that your county has mailed out your vote by mail ballot and it's on its way to you. The next message that many of you will receive is ballot inbound. This message means that the U.S. Postal Service has picked up your vote by mail ballot and it's on its way back to your county elections office. And finally, you'll receive a ballot received and accepted message. This means that your county has received and counted your vote by mail ballot. On this slide, you will see some of the other messages you could receive from the Where's My Ballot tracking service, such as ballot undeliverable, 1 week left to return your ballot, ballot received, and contact your county. If the post office cannot deliver your ballot, you will receive a ballot undeliverable message, and you will need to resolve this issue by contacting your county. 7 days before Election Day, you may receive 1 week left to return your ballot. This message is to remind you that your county has yet to receive your ballot for the upcoming election. The ballot received message indicates that your local county elections office has received your ballot but has not counted it yet. And finally, contact your county message. This will be sent if there is an issue with your vote by mail ballot, prompting you to contact your local county elections office for a resolution. Next, I'm going to move into election security. The California Secretary of State's office is the official nonpartisan election source in the state, and we collaborate extensively with our local, state, and federal partners to guarantee security and legitimacy of each vote. The Office of Election Cybersecurity is dedicated to a very specific message that states, through the continuous investment in new tools, systems, and infrastructure, the Office of Election Cybersecurity serves California with the sole purpose of keeping every Californian's vote safe from online interference, especially the spread of mis- and disinformation. The Office of Election Cybersecurity works to make sure every Californian is equipped with accurate information they need to vote and trust that their vote counts. For more information on election security, please visit the California Secretary of State's Office of Election Cybersecurity webpage, or you can scan the QR code on this slide. On this page, voters can find links to informational videos, toolkits, and a button to report misinformation. Clicking the button will generate an email to our CA Trusted Information inbox. You, the voter, are our best defense against rumors and misinformation. In our current climate, false election information is more common than you think. When you visit our CA Trusted Information page, you will have direct access to accurate information about election facts. There, we also debunk some of the most common election rumors and clarify what is true and what is not. Next up, I'm going to walk you through some of the key election security safeguards outlined in your voter information guide. So first up, let's discuss how we secure election technology. County election voting systems are not connected to the internet, and our office rigorously tests voting systems, and we work directly with our state and federal partners on routine threat monitoring and vulnerability scanning. Now moving on to some of our secure processes, facilities, and people. We have several secure processes in place and work closely with county elections officials on the security of voting locations and drop boxes. Specifically, our vote count team regularly checks and updates official voter registration records. And as discussed earlier in the presentation, we have a strict chain of custody procedures for drop boxes and handling of ballots. Elections officials perform post-election audits and signatures are verified on all vote-by-mail ballot envelopes. All of our voting locations undergo security and accessibility assessments, and election processes are open to observation during specific operating hours, and county staff is provided with phishing and cybersecurity training. On this slide, I'm going to share a few tips about sharing content on social media. We live in a digital environment that can be overstimulating at times, and the increased use of artificial intelligence or AI poses another challenge. I'm sure you've heard the phrases misinformation and disinformation, but what exactly do these terms mean? Misinformation refers to false information that is not created or shared with the intention of causing harm. On the other hand, disinformation is purposely crafted to mislead, harm, or manipulate individuals, social groups, organizations, or even entire countries. And finally, there is malinformation, which is rooted in fact but presented out of context in order to mislead, harm, or manipulate. With these distinctions in mind, voters should be mindful of the content that they encounter and share on social media. To help filter out some of that unwarranted information, we came up with an acronym, PAUSE. Pay attention, ask questions, understand motives, send possible misinformation, and expect. Pay attention. Emotional language such as a call to action or something needs to be done now. Those types of strange messages almost always come with ulterior motives. Ask questions. Why haven't I seen this before? What do other sources say? Who is the source that is putting out this information? Are they credible? Is there an underlying message? Understanding motives. Ask yourself, what are some of the possible motives behind the shared information? Trust that your county elections office and the Secretary of State's office sole motivation is to ensure a safe and secure election. Sending out misinformation. If you are unsure about something, you can always send it to our votesure@sos.ca.gov email box, and our election analysts can help research the validity of this claim. Finally, trust the experts. Accurate election information can always be found from official nonpartisan sources like your county registrar or on our CA Trusted Information page, which features several rumors that the elections team has already debunked. If you need more information about any of the units in the Elections Division, you can either scan the QR code on this slide or visit vote.ca.gov. Our main elections page features details on upcoming elections, ballot measures, candidate information, and election security. And we also have a dedicated webpage for the upcoming November 5th general election. And if you can't find what you need there, there's a search bar on the top right of the page. With that said, on behalf of Secretary Weber and the entire elections team here at the California Secretary of State, we thank you for joining us this afternoon,